For now, let's shift our attention over to a piece of breaking news that we are getting in as far as the BBC documentary, the much controversial BBC documentary on Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is concerned. Now we are learning that a total of 302 signatories, eminent citizens, have written a letter against the British broadcasting, and this letter consists of 13 retired judges, 133 retired bureaucrats, including 33 ambassadors and 156 retired armed forces officers. They are certainly very miffed with this documentary that has been making headlines not just in the UK but also in India as well. For more details, let's quickly go across to our senior political editor Pallavi Ghosh, who's joining me on the phone line. Pallavi, before we delve deeper into the matter, let's first discuss what are the contents of this letter that we're talking about.
So essentially in that letter, they have completely rejected what the BBC has been showing in the documentary, what these retired bureaucrats and across the various social spectrum have pointed out, that they are full of factual inaccuracies. It also very categorically points out 2-3 important facts, and just to focus on them. One, of course, in the case of, say, the revocation of Article 370, according to them, this was something which was included in the Constitution only as a temporary measure. So to make it out to be an arbitrary act of the government is something which is factually incorrect. As far as the Hindu-Muslim focus is concerned, especially in the context of Godhra, which is also a focus of the BBC documentary, in this letter, they very categorically point out that many of the measures which have been taken by the government, policy decisions announced by them, actually favorable to the minority community and actually which helps in the real infrastructural development. One instance they point out is that of triple talaq, which is very important for women empowerment. So these are the important key points of the letter which has been written to the BBC.
Absolutely. And all right, we are also joined in by Maria Shakil on the phone line. Maria, this is a documentary which has of course been slammed for selective chronicling of events and of course shallow accounting of facts. Could you outline why this documentary is becoming increasingly problematic?
Yes, because what it says is very it is being presented in a way which will be seen as prejudiced. That is the reason why I think this letter, which has been written by, and the signatories are, people of eminence in India, are highlighting how there are factually inaccurate. The words, which uses the words, that how it is completely motivated, it is distorted and unsubstantiated. I think the point being made here is that 452-page judgment of the Supreme Court had upheld clearly that there was a closure report which was filed by the Supreme Court, which had appointed a special investigation team after years of investigation into the Godhra riots. And in that, all the allegations against Prime Minister Modi had been dismissed, and it was said that it was ultra-sensational revelations which were made by police officers then, which was Sanjeev Bhatt and by Haren Pandya. If you look at the words of the court, which says clearly that it was to politicize the matter, and it is full of falsehood. That is what is being highlighted in this letter. That why is it being taken by the BBC, which is a state broadcaster, particularly when the Prime Minister has got clean sheet by the highest court in India.
Absolutely. That's a very valid concern, in fact. Pallavi, if I could bring you in on this, this documentary seems to have dug out the findings of a British Foreign Office inquiry. What does that inquiry say?
But I mean, if you just go by the documentary which is now out on the platforms, and also what government sources have also been telling us is that this is a very old documentary. Yes. It is also digging out an old facts of one particular officer who has no idea of what really happened in India at that point of time. It's also arbitrary. It's also inaccurate. And there's no reason why this documentary should now find this kind of a public space. Also, let's not forget, I mean, one of the biggest thumbs up which really came to our Prime Minister and the government came in from no less than the UK Prime Minister, when the issue was raised by one of the MPs on the floor of the London House. And, the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, got up to say that while we take cognizance of every fact over here, there is no substance to these allegations which have been put up. I think India diplomatically also stands vindicated. And I think that's the essential stand as far as the Indian government is concerned. Factually incorrect, political witch hunt, and a closure which was already given. There's no need to wake up those kind of roots and those issues once again.
All right.